here, front, back, hey, up top. No.
There you go. Hold it there.
Facing.
In this episode of Chop and Brew, we're diving into a flight of fresh, hop beers and talking about the different ingredients available for achieving the freshest hop flavor, including whole cone wet hops, unkilned Harvest Fresh pellets, and flash frozen fresh hops pelletized to lock in that flavor of harvest time. Fitty and Chip's brew reviews are brought to you with support from Imperial Yeast. We know that lager brewing season is upon us, and Imperial's limited edition Pilgrimage Lager strain is perfect for Pilsners, Doppelbocks, pretty much anything in your lager portfolio. More info at imperialyeast.com. And of course, our super fresh Patreon party people like Jorge Hernandez, Corey Wright, and Jonathan McPherson. Join them in keeping the show chugging along at patreon.com/chopandbrew. What's going on, everybody? We're back in the basement of Thomas Liquors.
Here we go.
Fitty.
Oh, yeah.
Can only mean one thing. Fitty and Chips brew reviews. This time we're doing fresh hop beers. And as we were getting ready to go on camera and talk about them, we realized we kind of have a really unique experience here where we've got whole cones, we've got what are called Harvest Fresh pellets, meaning pelletized within like 36 hours of harvesting and getting put in a beer in that same window. And then we've got some of the Cryo, I can't remember 100% what they call them, Yakima Chief 301, basically like a Cryo hop, but they've fresh frozen them.
It's complicated.
They've flash frozen them as fresh hops. You've probably seen that before in a couple other videos we've done with Falling Knife, where you can use them year round, but Surly chose to use them right away.
Okay, Surly.
Cheers.
Right? Cheers.
So this is kind of the return of a favorite. It was pretty much annual.
Yeah.
Kind of went on hiatus. Then last year's Darkness Day, they brought it back in Crowlers only at the event. This is the first year you've seen it in cans in a minute.
Yeah, right. And it's funny, Chipper, when you got in touch with me, you getting it in, like, they're not making it anymore. I'm like, oh, no, they've had it at the tap room. And then, surprise,
Boom.
it shows up. This is so freaking good.
It's so good.
Oh, my God.
First thing we'll say, it's kind of interesting. So our last video we did is pumpkin beers. I would say the opposite end of the spectrum, these fresh hop beers can also be considered and are literally called fall seasonal on at least two of these one sheets.
Oh, yeah.
So like, this is a fall seasonal because they're taking advantage of the harvest of that quick turn.
Once again, we talk about the seasonality of stuff.
Right.
And it's just this
Right.
seasonality, but very brief.
It's like for Halloween, I always want to have a pumpkin beer or not. I usually stockpile Oktoberfest, pumpkin beer too, and I try to have a fresh hop beer because I'm just like that season.
And I know, Chip, you always like the retailer's input.
Yeah.
By Halloween, I want all the fall stuff has got to be gone. I dang near want to be sold out of winter beers by Halloween.
In Surly Wet's case, 2-row acidulated malt, carafoam, flake malts, 7%. The beauty of this is, so it's these it's Mosaic and Simcoe, which I assume are whole cone, and then 301 Cryo Wet Citra. So this is a process where they basically freeze these unkilned whole hops, pelletize them, and then in this case, Surly got them and used them right away.
Yeah.
Again, if you can find them on the market or got a pro brewer friend, these basically give a fresh hopped essence 6 months from now, 8 months from now.
Okay.
The idea is you're kind of locking in this moment.
Okay.
But we both know that this moment is like, not all of these people make a point to say, brew, drink fresh, drink now.
Yeah.
Don't age this beer.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. Which is why breweries, wholesalers, retailers, everyone in and out. That's why allocations are small, and I got allocated one case of Surly Wet in and out. There just wasn't being much had on the retail side. I think they've had it going on the on tap at the brewery for a little while. But no, you don't want it hanging around out there. Any of these.
So what do you get out of this beer? I get that cattiness of the Simcoe, that kind of a little diesel-y, ammonia-y, like in a good way, just a very pungent get kind of a lot of citrusy.
For sure, citrus, yeah.
Lemon, lime, orange peel. I will say, sniffing, putting a nose into each of these, like, and Dono, my friend, will point this out. If he opens a beer that's supposed to be hoppy and he can't smell, he's like, you should smell a hoppy beer.
Sure.
Opening it. Sometimes you don't until you taste it. These are all like,
yeah. You know. And I'm wondering about the all three of them, how much dry hopping happens. You know,
yeah, that I don't know.
Mostly or not. I don't know.
None of them point that out. I know with wet hops, it's a lot about putting them in at the end in whirlpool. So it's not boiling anymore. It's also not cold and officially dry hopping.
Sure, right.
But they're pulling these oils, this lupulin, this pollen almost straight out of the flower.
Yeah.
It's not to say none of these were, but I also feel like for them trying to turn them fast, they probably want to eliminate as many downstream processes as possible.
Okay. Yeah.
So they probably really try to cram it in. But especially with like these wet hop pellets, wet frozen hop pellets or the Harvest Fresh.
Yeah.
You could probably dry hop for a couple of days and get a lot out of them, but I don't know that from any of what we've read. It's always just a little different based on what they can get.
Yeah, for sure.
This year I think is I don't know if better is the right word, but more potent than last year. I feel like the last one back last year was like yummy, hoppy, light-bodied. This one has more of that like that kind of oily zest right in your face when you open it.
Yeah, just a little more aggressive.
The clearest of the three we have. So I'm gonna leave a little.
Yeah, touch of haze on each of these, but you're right. That's definitely very, very clear on the Surly.
So let's go to Born Yesterday. This is Lagunitas. Shout out to Patty
Mulcahy.
It says, here for a fresh time, not a long time, featuring fresh hops rushed from farm to brewery in under 24 hours. So they're talking whole cone. Big wet, fluffy, moist cones and refrigerated trucks. Refrigerated trucks from the Pacific Northwest down to Lagunitas. 7.2%. They shout out bright orange, grapefruit, hops. So a little more bump in ABV. I feel a little more softness in body, which you might expect by even looking at it. It's not.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a hazy,
it's not quite
but
as sharp.
it is hazy.
A little rounder. Touch of sweetness. It does have. It does toe the line into the hazy. Character between both the appearance, the mouthfeel, and I would say the flavor profile. It's kind of these almost a touch of sweet fruit. I mean, I hesitate to use the term sweet, but kind of leaning in that direction.
The web copy actually points out mango, pineapple, coconut from these fresh hops. So I'm wondering if they're using
some pineapple.
Sabro. Strata, Sabro.
Yeah. So you would know better than I would.
Whenever you hear coconut or vanilla, my brain definitely goes to Sabro. So far we've got kind of a blend of, I'm assuming, whole cones and these Cryo fresh frozen hops. This sounds like it's all whole cones, kind of like what I'm used to seeing.
Exactly. That's the way, it's the one and only way I knew of, or thought I knew of, what fresh hop / wet hop.
Right.
And now I'm learning kind of distinction there. But I always thought, no processing, cut those vines, throw it in the damn tank. Was my thought. It was that simple. And I'm learning it's not.
What's interesting, wet and fresh used to kind of be synonymous, but I think to hearing you just ask that now, now you could start saying wet hop beers are whole cones. Refrigerated, but these fresh hop, now that we're locking in freshness through one pelletizing process or another, whether it's freezing, whether it's this Harvest Fresh. Locking in that moment. It's never going to be 100% that moment, but it might even be better because a whole cone is a whole lot of wet, damp, moisture. That's why you got to get them in there,
stuff going on.
They'll start molding. They'll start drying and browning.
Because last year when we did this, we talked about Celebration Ale, which just arrived today, and that is one of these. It's kind of a fresh hop or not a wet hop, but
I think after the fact we're like, this isn't a wet hop beer as much as it is using those freshest cones to brew a really strong beer that I do think it's dry hop and gets
Okay.
It doesn't get rushed quite as quickly to be this like golden profile kind of showcase.
And that's,
it's
still
like
a copper color.
This would be a holiday beer 2 months
it definitely
from now.
has it definitely has a sharpness and then the bitterness, and then that depth of color, the more malt.
I think we actually got called out, but even though I'd already called myself out before we got called out, I was like, oh, that's right. I've always known. It's like this isn't. It's kind of the original fresh hop beer in that they try to brew with the fresh hops immediately, but then they don't try to like push it to market in 12 days. They're actually trying to make like a substantial.
It's a whole season. It's.
I wouldn't age it, but I mean
months worth.
The freaking graphics on it are Christmas time.
Yeah.
So there's an indication of when they want you to be drinking it.
Yeah.
And it's it could be right away. I've seen a lot of posts on social in the last week or two. It's clearly getting out there. A lot of my West Coast friends are like, got my 2 cases for this season. I'm like, damn. And you got it?
Put it in the fridge. It just arrived today.
Whoa!
I hope you like fresh.
Might be.
We got it.
All right, so let's go to our last one. Harvest Fresh IPA. Cheers.
Cheers, Chipper Gore.
Orangey.
Okay.
Boozy.
From Moxie, Washington, the Roy Farms. You said you've been there?
Yeah.
Cool. Super cool. And is that in whereabouts in Washington will that be?
I think Moxie, you'll call me out. I think it's a little east of Yakima. All I remember is really cool operation, and this was the one time I got put in a truck. So when they cut the bines, they got these clippers that go up, and then it kind of falls into the back of a pickup truck as if you were, I can't compare it to anything, but they put me in the truck. So basically I'm in this truck that's like in a car wash of like hop bines because they're getting cut above and laid back.
Here's your stupid hops.
Dude, it was the coolest thing. Like,
hops on you.
The guy driving, or the guy who put me in the truck was like, we don't do this for anybody. It's when I worked at Summit. He was like, really? I want you to have this shot, though. And it was just like, I could just imagine the dude driving this truck 12 hours a day, just like smack, smack, smack.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I hope you like hoppy beers, buddy.
It's raining hops. Hop varieties they use, I believe it's on this side. Yep. El Dorado, Amarillo, Strata, and Bravo, all from Roy Farms.
Man, it's a lot of different hops.
Mm-hmm. And what they specify in this, because talking about it's like, okay, what's a fresh hop or wet hop or what's going on here? So according to Odell, this IPA is exceptional. Of course it is.
We'll be the judges.
Yeah, right? With hops that were picked and pelletized in 36 hours. Yeah. This is the freshest you can get. Well, I don't know what's the freshest you can get, because actually if you did...
Now we're hearing 3 different ways of like the freshest. Like,
right.
They need to do like we did and brew in the backyard of Grumpy's as they're pulling the hops down.
All right. Exactly.
Take your brew kettle to the hop farm.
That's the freshest you can get.
Man up.
Yeah. Is it great beer? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's kicked the booziness up. Like you can taste the sweetness. It's almost like an orange liqueur.
Yeah, a little
beer.
bit. Yep. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's got this like really kind of pronounced orange Julius is the only thing I can call it. It's like orange, but it's almost got this like creaminess that's probably from more like the booze, alcohol.
Yeah, that's really soft.
Not hot,
it does
but it's
not
7%.
Yeah, right. And it doesn't have. It really doesn't have much of a hop bitterness. This is, kind of like the hazies. It's fruit forward and aromatic hops, but not so much. It's kind of sweeter fruit, but not. A little bit of bitterness, but not much. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
So now that we've gone through the full spectrum, anything jump out? You go back to the Surly. It's almost got this like earthy, grassy, something very like almost spicy about the aroma of wet. Just like lightning round sniffing. Right. I will say that's not surprising. Surly tastes the freshest. Like,
yes.
It tastes and that's probably because it was canned 14 days ago. It was probably brewed 10 days before that.
Right.
I mean, it just,
and with
no blame to these, but they're a national footprint. No, they taste a minute to
they're all great beers. I would say this. These are all great beers. Yeah. But I think Surly has the most, the most hop character in kind of every way. And kind of this dank, you're like I said, a little bit of an earthy character.
It's kind of cool that we did a flight once again, that could be very monotonous, and it turned out to be very different.
Yeah.
If I had to say I would say freshest, crispest, a little more body, a little more, I don't know if sweetness is the right word, but just a little bit more balance, maybe even. And the last one really it really does actually double IPA kind of feeling to it, where that hop is really, it's in the nose, but it's more in that finish. It finishes with this nice hoppy. It's aspirating because it's higher in alcohol. I don't know. I would like a big snifter of that to hang out with for a long evening. Versus I would and have drank multiple cans of this while like grilling in my backyard, because it's surly, it's local, you kind of forget. It's got some extra oomph, and next thing you know, you're like, we need some water.
Guess I'm not going anywhere else tonight. I like this order. In fact, I would throw this the Lagunitas seems to be somewhere in the middle of the profiles of these other two.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if I did this.
Whoa! Don't do it.
And I'm not gonna do. I like to make my cuvées though.
You've been doing it.
I love. Yeah, it's free country, isn't it?
For a little bit longer. Yeah.
This isn't Russia, Danny. Wow, these are really, really enjoyable beers.
I will say this goes to say a lot about if you can find a local wet hopped beer. Whether you live near actual hop yards or just a brewery putting in the commitment to bring in wet hops, like Surly definitely pops here. Oh, hi.
Hi, Ham.
I didn't see you there.
Oh, yeah, we didn't see you. Hi, Ham.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I still gotta go home and cook for a toddler.
Oh, macaroni and cheese?
That is actually nice, which we don't eat a lot, but it's funny you said that, because that is tonight, macaroni. I'm chopping up some shrimps, some broccoli.
Shrimpies?
I'm gonna work everything into this thing.
You could not cut up hot dogs? Shrimpies?
Shrimps.
Ooh, eyebrow. Oh, jeez, I'm at the wall now.
Fitty?
Chipper?
As Fitty said, here today, gone tomorrow.
He's right.
Support your...
You were gone yesterday.
They were gone yesterday? Well, in case
Born yesterday.
Surly, we had to sneak some cans in. So support your local brewery. Get some fresh hop beers. Support some of these national brands that are doing good work and innovating beers. Get their fresh hop. Enjoy it. If you're a pumpkin beer hater, this is pretty much your fall seasonal once you get past Oktoberfest.
It's, you're one camper or the other.
I know, right? Let us know your favorite wet hop, fresh hop beer. What kind of innovations are you seeing with all these pelletizing methods, or just whole cone, old school, throwing them in? Let us know where we should be looking for those fresh hop beers, so maybe Fitty can bring them to the Metro next year.
All right,
y'all. Chop for chop, brew for brew. Keep it fresh, keep it wet.
Chop it up. Oh, ooh, yeah, we're gonna sign off on that.
I don't know how I feel about that.
This is gonna be on a different, this different feed on the internet.